The book of Matthew, chapter 1. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, and Isaac the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers, and Judah the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar, and Perez the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram, and Ram the father of Amminadab, and Amminadab the father of Nahshon, and Nahshon the father of Salmon, and Salmon the father of Boaz by Rahab, and Boaz the father of Obed by Ruth, and Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David the king. And David was the father of Solomon by the wife of Uriah, and Solomon the father of Rehoboam, and Rehoboam the father of Abijah, and Abijah the father of Asaph, and Asaph the father of Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat the father of Joram, and Joram the father of Uzziah, and Uzziah the father of Jotham, and Jotham the father of Ahaz, and Ahaz the father of Hezekiah, and Hezekiah the father of Manasseh, and Manasseh the father of Amos, and Amos the father of Josiah, and Josiah the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the deportation to Babylon. And after the deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel, and Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel. I'm just smiling and bubbling. Oh, it's truth, and I'm sitting here on a bathroom floor. Any opportunity to speak and share the truth, the Holy Spirit is working through these words into the hearts of those who will hear and receive. And Zerubbabel the father of Abiud, and Abiud the father of Eliakim, and Eliakim the father of Azor, excuse my pronunciation as usual, and Azor the father of Zadok, and Zadok the father of Asham, and Asham the father of Eliud, and Eliud the father of Eleazar, and Eleazar the father of Matan, and Matan the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus was born, who is called Christ. So all the generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations, and from David to the deportation to Babylon, 14 generations. And from the deportation to Babylon to the Christ, 14 generations. Now, the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. You can't even imagine, in this time and place on earth, in this culture, a woman, you can't imagine Mary had had no physical contact. She was a young girl, devoted to God, had had no physical contact with a male, and by the power and working of the Holy Spirit is now pregnant. And so her husband, when he finds this out, cannot deem to be connected or associated with her at all, because it would bring so much shame to him and his family and the tribe and everything else that he would divorce her. But he was such a good man that he wasn't going to shame her. He wasn't going to get her blasphemed and probably stoned to death by telling people, well, she must have slept with someone because it wasn't me, and how can she be pregnant, so therefore she's been at it, and all the rest of it. And he wasn't going to do that to her family. So he was going to try to divorce her quietly. That's how just a man Joseph was. And of course, God, knowing the hearts, knowing the thoughts of every single person, we go into this. But as he considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife. That just really hit me hard. So it was him going into fear that resulted in him deciding to not marry, and he was going to take things into his own hands and come up with these, what he thought were solutions and paths to walk. But that was all derived from his fear. And here the angel's saying, don't fear to take Mary as your wife. I just need to say, I'm going to talk so much. How often do we get into fear and go off the path that we're supposed to walk because we try to take control by coming up with our own solutions and whatever it is, and it's actually all just derived from fear. Anyway, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. What the Lord had spoken by the prophet, because in the Old Testament, the Lord could only speak through the prophets. Okay, that's how people would hear God. Now, that reminds me of what it says in Hebrews 1. I'll quickly go there. Long ago, at many times, this is Hebrews 1:1, and in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things, through whom also he created the world. His sheep hear his voice now. Okay. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took his wife, but knew her not until she had given birth to a son. That means they didn't have physical intercourse, which is a wonderful way of describing it. He knew her not until she had given birth to a son, and he called his name Jesus. That is Matthew chapter 1.